DJ Twitch's wife's new book was released last week, and from the excerpts that have been shared online, it's clear that her continued attempts to tear down his legacy reaches new lows that no one could have possibly imagined. The level of filth that she uses to try to besmirch his character and his memory with unfounded speculation and outright lies on someone she claimed to love is nasty work, and more than enough to make anyone question the lengths she go to in order to take down someone she still sees as competition.
When you hear DJ Twitch's wife trying to tear down the legacy she's still standing on,
it's also really important in my healing journey that people start to see me as me without him.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Just when you thought Allison Holker's betrayal of her late husband Stephen Laurel Boss, aka DJ Twitch, couldn't get any worse, her just released book sinks to a new low by hurling even more unsubstantiated accusations that are designed to only do one thing, and that's try to completely obliterate DJ Twitch's legacy. And even though most of her claims are debunked, not only by police reports and medical records, but also by Allison constantly contradicting herself, her book does show one thing, and that's that Allison's actions seem to be those of someone who never loved DJ Twitch. And the way this woman is trying to annihilate his character by now insinuating that due to his own alleged childhood trauma at the hands of an adult male, again, something that is completely unsubstantiated because according to Allison, it's not even explicitly stated, but only possibly alluded to by doodles in his journals. Allison postulates in her book that maybe he left because he was afraid he would possibly revisit that same trauma on his own child. Maybe he left to save them from a worse horror. Claiming to be writing this book to help others with their mental health, all the while verbalizing some of the most damaging stereotypes, all in an effort to destroy the character of a man who she wants the world to believe she actually loved, despite all evidence to the contrary. Now that should really be all the proof authorities need to reopen the case, because this shameful attempt to butcher his character reveals a level of psychopathy that you can't put anything past. Because even if you don't find it odd that a devoted wife would immediately believe that the loving, loyal husband, who she said had no previous self-harm ideations or mental health issues, would choose to, out of the blue, leave his family, or that his wife, for some reason, failed to report him missing for over 24 hours, or that within 48 hours of his passing, she allegedly removed his last name from her social media accounts and hired a defense attorney, or forced Stephen's mother to sign an NDA to see her son one final time, or that this same wife removed her wedding rings within 2 months, or allegedly started dating someone that was considered a friend of his before stating that yet another new man made her feel like she was falling in love for the very first time, and that it felt like they had loved each other through 3 lifetimes, or that with this new guy she was finally able to embrace her feminine side. Even if you don't find any of that suspicious, what about the fact that her husband, that she considered loyal and loving, went missing fresh off his anniversary weekend with his happily married wife? He was gone for over 24 hours without answering her calls or texts, behavior which was so uncharacteristic that it eventually sent her running to the police station thinking that he had been hurt somewhere. Yet, when he is found suspiciously unclothed in a motel shower just minutes away from their home, within a couple of hours of her going to the police station, Allison didn't even want the authorities to perform an autopsy because she knew there would be substances in his system and she didn't want that exposed to the world. Now obviously she's not talking about the green stuff, which is completely legal. And since according to Allison, she had no idea of any other substance use because she never saw him and didn't find this alleged shoebox cornucopia of substances until weeks after the autopsy was performed. So what exactly didn't she want them to find in the autopsy? Allison continues to try to push this narrative of Stephen being an alleged hardcore substance user, despite the fact that the toxicology report showed that there were no substances or even alcohol in his system. Her latest actions amount to not only a betrayal of her late husband, but also of his children, and begs the question that if his legacy could be so cruelly offered as a sacrifice for someone else's elevation, what else could be?
DJ Twitch's wife's constant efforts to destroy his legacy proves the scripture that says, jealousy is as cruel as the grave.
It's also really important in my healing journey that people start to see me as me without him.
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Because a woman who, on one hand, in her own words, refuses to publicly portray Stephen as the best father in every social post, or highlight only the positive because it could inadvertently make her children feel responsible for his pain, but on the other hand, is more than okay with publicly portraying her husband as a possible monster with possible evil intentions toward those same children, that woman is operating under a level of delusional desperation that could lead to anything. Much like what happened when you see Allison in this resurfaced footage of her 2018 arrest at a Utah airport for public intoxication and disorderly conduct, where Allison's irrational responses to officers who, although they noticed she emitted a strong odor of alcohol and observed eyes that were bloodshot and glossy, those officers were still just trying to make sure she got safely to her destination after flight attendants found her unconscious on the plane. Now, instead of letting them help her, Allison cursed at them, yelled at them, proceeded to call her husband DJ Twitch, and when police attempted to talk directly to him, she refused to let them. Her behavior escalated to such a level that police had to remove her from the premises and place handcuffs on her as she resisted arrest and refused to behave in a rational manner and refused to answer questions appropriately, behaving belligerently and turning a routine and simple evaluation by health staff into a volatile and tumultuous incident that caused much public alarm. Now, according to Daily Mail, after Allison was released that day, she was supposed to show up for arraignment 2 weeks later, but she failed to show, and a bench warrant was issued for her arrest. But after 3 years with no activity on the case, the warrant was recalled, and the case against Allison was dismissed on October 20, 2021. So you mean that someone who disrespected police when they were being their kindest, and then disrespected the judge by not even bothering to show up for court, can just have the bench warrant recalled and the case dismissed?
I'ma be nice.
For all intents and purposes, the whole incident was buried, and Allison never experienced any consequences for her tumultuous and volatile behavior while allegedly intoxicated. Now, we won't get into who could have possibly made this incident just disappear, but we all know what happens when certain people don't have to face the consequences of their behavior, and we all know that the very ones that they call to help them out of those situations of their own making usually end up being the ones they despise the most. And now we have Allison's book, not only changing the timeline of when she last saw Stephen, claiming to have seen him the night before when he allegedly panicked and came home murmuring over and over that he lied, but even further trying to smear his character, questioning his faithfulness and adult preferences based on alleged rumors that circulated online after his passing, saying he left her in so-called dire financial straits because of his substantial generosity to family and friends, and leaving her with a $1 million tax debt for the year of 2022 due to his alleged reckless spending on substances and weird art. Yet his bank account still paid that entire tax debt, and less than 6 months after a court awarded Allison only half of his company and future earnings, she was able to buy a $5 million house. She seems to be throwing every possible scandal you could think of at Stephen's name, from substances to financial problems to proclivities, but at the same time acknowledging that what she is putting out there is behavior that she herself never witnessed. But she continues to use these triggering topics to try to silence anyone who would dare to call her out. The same way she used the NDA, which she forced his family to sign in order to attend his services. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.